We're here today, we're standing right now on the same property as the visitor center sits on. We're about to enter into the neighboring property, a property we acquired a little over a year ago. It's called the Primrose Preserve property, or at least it was. Now it's just the Primrose property.
Okay.
It's about 90 acres, and we'll be hiking it here today and taking inventory of what we have to do. Well, I can say that 50 years ago this was a hayfield, and this property was purchased back in the 80s as part of a mitigation project for a project over in the Lee Meadows area. And so consultants were hired to come in and replant this to return it to a state of a swamp, red maple swamp, and you can see that that's really not what's happened here. And so now we have to really look into the property and see how we want to best manage it. When I look at this, I can see a lot of potential for managing it as a grasslands again, but maybe with native warm season grasses and wildflowers. But we could also let it revert or help restore it to a red maple swamp. So there's just a lot of things that we don't know. We're just on the verge of starting to study this property and inventory what we have here, and then react to that and move forward with whatever plans we might develop. Yes, well, way before, so back in like the 1970s, this was a hayfield, part of that farm right up there. The back side of the farm was purchased as a partial mitigation for a project, the Prudential Insurance Building over in Lee Meadows, right near the Wegmans, if you know where the Wegmans is.
Yeah. Well, they read the newsletter article that you wrote?
The newsletter article that many people contributed to talks more about the property, but I think, you know, this is almost, to me, a blank canvas.
Absolutely.
On things we could do here. We could certainly let it revert to forest. I'm very slow to do that because once that's done, that's kind of the final state that the habitat might be in. But I look at this and I see lots of potential for prescribed fire, for wildflowers, pollinator-friendly mixes, warm season grasses, things of that nature. So again, it'll take a little bit more study than we've been able to do with COVID. It's given all of our other activities in the last year. But even though it probably doesn't feel like it today, it's just a short walk from the visitor center to here.
Doesn't feel like it.
No?
But are these river birch back here? What is it? Yeah, there's so
A
many.
lot.
Oh, back in
They were
here.
planted, weren't
Yeah, they look like river birch,
they? Yeah.
Or something similar.
and they were probably planted here as part of that restoration plant, or the restoration that was supposed to mitigate for those
They're
impacts.
not native?
Yeah,
They're native, but would probably not be found here.
in the forest, right. But if
So-
we were restoring it, they'd be lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the nicest stand I know of in the refuge.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, and there may be, you know, the other part of it is what's great about habitat restoration is when you look at a place like this, there may be different techniques used here. We may not turn this whole thing back into a grassland. We may plant some Atlantic white cedars, for example, down here where they would have wet feet, but not too wet
what's up
most
here?
of the year. Losing the
Sharpie?
sun.
Sharpie,
Yeah.
you think?
Maybe a little bit further up then we would plant less water loving, but less water loving, like a red maple or, you know, sweet gum or something like that. And maybe further up still would be where we would put the grasslands. But generally, the way I look at grasslands, especially in a place like the swamp, is back in the 1600s, 1700s, an awful lot of people spent lives clearing this land, and so I don't want to let it go without thinking about it a lot up front and making sure we do the very best thing that we can here. So we can walk out in, take an inventory of any invasives you might see. I'm sure there's some here.
So Bob says, where do you guys work when you come?
There's the brook. There's a stream that goes.
Yeah,
right
it comes
down
right
there.
down along that forested edge, or just inside that forested edge.
So you've been taking out on the property?
Yeah, it used to be. I mean, it's a man-made thing. And then what's your pleasure,
Where's the
George?
milk,
Where do you want to
Wade?
go?
It's up to you. I don't know whatever you think is the best.
The Primrose Brook's over there.
Pollinator field.
It's pretty much what you see here, other than
Yeah,
that forested edge and that forested patch.
The Primrose Brook is the edge of the property.
More or less, yeah. Yep.
So this doesn't go over the brook.
It
Everything
doesn't?
on the
Just
west
this,
side of the brook.
just this side of the brook.
And who's on the other side?
House cat.
Okay.
So really, it's up to you all how much you want to explore here. I'm here for the afternoon, so we can go over and check out the brook.
How wide is the brook?
Sure, let's go look at the brook.
Sure.
Yes,
Let's do it.
we're here. Let's do it.
Were these little things natural, or were they created?
So, what I'm standing on right now, this berm,
Yeah.
is an artifact of that mitigation project. So they were trying to hold water in pools, and you can probably see there that was raised up and there was a breach there. So they were trying to create a water pattern here where water-loving trees grew. And you can see that they were in places successful, in other places not. But really all they were doing was they were taking the old drainage beds, one like Jane is standing in now,
Right.
and they just sculpted the land up to give more relief, more water holding, surface water holding capacity.
But were these actual? I mean, did they have a dam at the end to make a pond, or did they just?
I'm not sure exactly how they were constructed, because I don't think there are any plans that exist for it, but
Was the state doing this?
this would have been
A contractor?
a contractor hired by Prudential to restore the habitat. Yeah.
Who owned the land then? Was it Prudential?
It was purchased off the farmer at the time, and I can't. That's in that article that Laurel.
Malin Rocket, or when was this article? The last issue.
Last issue?
Two issues ago.
Yeah.
Two issues.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and reread.
Please.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now it has meaning.
Minimal retention.
I know, that's why you write those things,
Minimal
for the
retention.
future.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
I know, I do know. So where's the
Read so
brook?
much.
Right here?
Straight ahead. Another 200 yards maybe. So right now we're standing at the eastern edge of the former Primrose Preserve property. The brook is right behind me. As we go further upslope, the brook gets a more rocky, cobbly bottom strata, and actually is further up known to support trout. So there may be some potential here at some point for a modest fishing program here on the refuge, but again, that's one of those things that we have to look into and see if that's workable and sustainable.
Is that bad stuff or good stuff?
That's the bad stuff. It gets mixed in with the duckweed over the summer, but right now you can see the bad stuff comes up first. What is it again? It's a starwort.
And you just grab it and bag it.
Yeah, we throw it in plastic containers and chuck it on the bank.
Okay. Way back in the back, you can see them all moving back there on the right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
frog soup back there.
Chasing each other.
Thursday night I took my kids out and we did our
Sounds like
annual
spring.
spotted salamander
Oh,
Yeah.
road crossing.
there's
Right near my house there's a lake called Lake
one real
Mency,
close here.
near Bangor,
Stop
near
swimming now.
Stroudsburg.
You see him, James? Yes. How low this is?
Yeah, it's been dropping every year.
Well, it's not wilderness.
Whoa.
What happened here?
The branches are breaking, rotting and breaking. That was supporting it, now it's just collapsing. It's going to be a problem in the future.
This is the limbo. Let's see who can go. How low can you go? Who was it, Dave? What was his name? But my question would be, then what's going to keep it from being undercut on the side?
Clean everything, that's all these.
So if you have built up with gravel,
Science History Institute. You could have any interest.
oh really?
And then also,